Hey there, Sak here from Saki Tech, and in today's video we will do a full comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 versus the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. The Note 9 was released in August 2018 and quickly became one of the best smartphones ever created with minimum compromises, while the S10 was released in March 2019 and has some incredible features catapulting its desirability to the highest levels. So naturally, people are asking questions, which one is the better smartphone? If I'm in the market to buy the S10 Plus or the Note 9, which one do I buy? And the especially common question is, if I own the Note 9, do I upgrade to the S10? So in this video, I will answer those questions directly by doing a full and complete comparison of every aspect of these smartphones. In the end, we will tie everything together in a conclusion to give you precise answers. So let's get started by taking a look at the build and design. Now before we dive in, if you find my videos useful, make sure to click that subscribe button and also make sure to click that bell icon on the side to get notified every time I upload a new video. And of course, if you do use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, make sure to follow me on all at SakiTech Online, also for the latest updates. Alright, let's dive in. Both of these smartphones follow a similar build. They use Gorilla Glass for the front display and for the back panel, while a metal band secures the edges. It is a tried and true formula, and the final result is a solid build and $1 million in-hand sensation. I do want to let you know that the Gorilla Glass used on the S10 for the front panel is in fact Gorilla Glass 6, while the one used on the Note 9 is Gorilla Glass 5. Now when it comes to the actual design, we do have some differences on the front. The Note 9 has no notches or holes in its display and offers a nearly all-screen display with extremely small bezels. The S10 on the other hand comes with a pill-shaped cutout on its display, which does house a dual camera, a process which allows Samsung to make the bezels even slimmer, bringing the S10 one step closer to the future of true all-screen displays. The overall design of both of these smartphones is sensational, with the only major difference being the hole with smaller bezels versus no hole with slightly larger bezels. In a few minutes, I'll play videos on both smartphones to give you a side-by-side experience on how movies and games will look and feel on either smartphone, but let me quickly talk about some other features. Both smartphones are IP68 grade water resistant, which means they can easily withstand water splashes, rain, and dust. You can even submerge these smartphones into water for up to 30 minutes and 1.5 meters deep without accruing any water damage. That's just fantastic. They both have stereo speakers, including Dolby Atmos sound. As a result, both phones will produce loud and rich sound, which is great for watching videos, playing games, or listening to music without headphones. But if you do desire headphones, they both offer the 3.5mm headphone jack. So as you can see, so far we have equally valuable smartphones built with quality, designed expertly, and loaded with useful features. Now let's move on and talk about the processor, memory, and storage. The Note 9 sports a Snapdragon 845 processor, offers 6 GB of RAM if you get the 128 GB storage model, or 8 GB of RAM if you get the 512 GB model. The S10 has a Snapdragon 855 processor and offers 8 GB of RAM standard whether you get the 128 GB storage or the 512 GB storage model. You do have the option to go nuts and get a 1 TB ceramic Galaxy S10 that has 12 GB of RAM. Both smartphones also offer microSD expansion to add even more storage if required, an option that still stands to please a lot of people, especially if you buy the 128 GB model, knowing you are not limited in storage. Now it is clear that the S10 here has seen an upgrade. You have more RAM on the base model and a newer and faster processor. As you can see, the benchmarks also favor the S10. In this category, the S10 is in the lead based on pure numbers. But it is essential to understand that the real-world everyday performance on both smartphones is rock solid. Whether you are gaming, browsing, or watching videos, everything will work without lag and swiftly. Now let's move on and talk about the dimensions really quick. So as you can see, the Note 9 is the slightly larger smartphone and the slightly heavier smartphone, but this is not too important, not a special thing in making a decision between the two. But one thing is clear, that the S10 is able to maintain a smaller size even while offering the same 6.4-inch display size thanks to the Infinity O display. So let's move on and talk about the display in more detail. The Note 9 has a gorgeous Super AMOLED 6.4-inch display with a resolution of 2960 by 1440 and 516 pixels per inches. It also supports HDR10. The S10 also has a gorgeous dynamic AMOLED 6.4-inch display with a resolution of 3040 by 1440 and 522 pixels per inches. It supports the newer HDR10 Plus. When it comes to the quality of these displays, they both offer a top-notch display experience. Just look at how crisp and clear they are. The S10 takes a small lead due to its HDR10 Plus compatibility, but not enough to give it an edge on your buying or upgrading decision. The bigger concern is going to be whether or not you want a hole-free display versus the one that does have a hole, known as the Infinity O display, but with smaller bezels. So you can see them side by side. In my opinion, the hole isn't too big of a deal, certainly not as bad as a notch. However, the Note 9 still brings to the table a hole-free and notch-free display that might be more attractive to some people, which might also play a role in not upgrading from the Note 9 to the S10. Now let's move on to the software experience. Both smartphones run on the latest version of Android with the new One UI overlay. So essentially, the software experience is going to be identical on both smartphones. Both have the new and cool night mode, which gives you a dark, easy on the eyes theme. Both have the latest Android Pie features. And of course, both have all the Samsung specific perks like the fully customizable edge panels that offer a bunch of very useful side screen widgets such as calculators, compass, weather, and much more. However, the Note 9 does have a hidden weapon that the S10 simply cannot replicate, and that is the S Pen. S Pen is a multifunctional tool that brings a new dimension of functionality to the Note 9. It allows for precision handwriting, precision sketching, and precision drawing if you so desire. You can literally create a masterpiece if you have the skill and patience right on your Note 9. You can also navigate your smartphone with the S Pen, which is just cool, and you do get access to the special Air Command menu that gives you additional software features not present on any other smartphone, let alone the S10. The S Pen is going to play a major role in whether or not a Note 9 owner should upgrade to the S10 or not. And of course, we will tie this up in the conclusion, but let's quickly talk about the camera. Note 9 has dual rear cameras while the S10 has triple rear cameras. Basically, the S10 has one extra camera on the rear that adds a new way to take photos. It is important to understand that Note 9's standard wide-angle camera and the telephoto camera are identical to the S10's standard wide and telephoto. However, the S10 offers a third super wide-angle option that might interest some people as it can take sweeping photos. It has a higher viewing angle equal to the human eye, so you get to capture more of what you see. Now, the quality and sharpness of photos is nearly the same on both smartphones, so no worries in that department. It's just that you have an extra camera on the S10 that you don't have on the Note 9. S10 also offers a dual front-facing cameras, while the Note 9 offers a single front-facing camera. And honestly, this is not a big deal because you'll be able to take selfies or perform video calls on both smartphones with no problems. The extra rear camera is much more valuable than the extra front camera. When it comes to video recording, both phones can record in 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second or 1080p at 30 or 60 frames per second. They also have super slow motion recording at 960 frames per second. Mostly the video quality is the same. However, the S10 brings a new feature to the table known as super steady video recording, which does an amazing job of stabilizing video over the Note 9. So to summarize, both smartphones do have flagship-worthy cameras. However, the S10 does have one extra rear camera, one extra front camera, and superior video stabilization, giving it a lead over the Note 9 as a total package. If you're not into deep photography and are satisfied with the options the Note 9 has to offer, which are still plenty, then you don't have to worry about the camera too much. But if you want that wide-angle camera for any reason, and if you do need better video stabilization, then camera becomes important, and of course we will tie this into the conclusion very soon. The Note 9 has a 4000 mAh battery capacity, while the S10 has a battery capacity of 4100 mAh. 100 mAh of extra battery capacity might get you 15 to 30 minutes of extra battery life for everyday use, so the actual battery capacity isn't a big deal. Additionally, both smartphones have fast wire charging and fast wireless charging. The S10 does have some improvements in charging speeds, but again, when you look at the real world results, they're not groundbreaking improvements. S10 will charge from 0 to 100 wired or wirelessly maybe 3 to 5% faster than the Note 9. That is not a big deal. Now what the S10 does have, which I consider quite useful, is the wireless power share feature, which basically transforms your S10 into a wireless charger so you can charge other smartphones that support wireless charging, and especially useful is that you can charge other accessories such as a smartwatch or your wireless earbuds. So we do have a brand new feature here on the S10 that is not present on the Note 9. Now let's talk about the biometrics and pricing. The Note 9 has 3 ways to unlock your smartphone. It offers an iris scanner, a standard face unlock, and a physical fingerprint scanner found on the rear of the device. The S10 offers 2 ways to unlock your smartphone. It offers a standard face unlock and a brand new in-display ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, obviously on the front. Basically, I will give you my personal opinion here and state that I much prefer a fingerprint sensor that is on the front of the display. Not only it is extremely practical and convenient, but also it is a very attractive feature from a technological perspective. It's got that futuristic science fiction appeal. I would much prefer this over an iris scanner unless the iris scanner was also built into the display. So it's hard to assign a win here, but the preference does go to the S10. As for pricing, both smartphones officially start at $1,000 for the 128GB models, but the Note 9 will surely be available with attractive discounts all over the place. So you might end up getting a Note 9 for $700 to $800, while the S10 will start at $1,000 for a while. Now let's move on and tie everything together and draw a conclusion. Which phone is better? Should you upgrade? Let's see. Alright, so how do we draw a conclusion? Very simple. Let's see what you stand to lose if you give up your Note 9. Most people that own a Note smartphone want the S Pen, and the S Pen is fantastic. If you want it and if you use it all the time, then you will feel the loss if you were to give up your Note 9 for the S10. Another thing you will lose is the iris scanner, which in my opinion is not a very important loss. And finally, you will also lose a whole free display that might be important to some people. Now let's look at the other side and see what you gain if you decide to own an S10 Plus. And it is essential to understand that only a few gains are actually important, while most of the other gains are simply standard incremental updates. So here's a list of all the gains or advantages of the S10. You do get a new processor, which isn't too important as the Note 9 is still a high-performance smartphone. You do get a new in-display fingerprint sensor, which is an important upgrade. And you do get a wireless power share feature, which may or may not be important based on your needs. And of course, you do get an extra rear camera, which I think is important because it is a super wide camera. And finally, you get an extra front camera, which I think is not important at all. So as you can see, there's only a few actual important upgrades you would be getting from the S10 over the Note 9, while also not being able to have access to the S Pen anymore. So based on these facts, my conclusion is that most people who own a Note 9 do not need to upgrade unless the gains I mentioned are very important to you. So that's the answer for current Note 9 owners who were considering an upgrade. For most of you, do not upgrade, wait for the Note 10, which isn't that far away. As for the people in the market who own neither and are trying to decide between the S10 and the Note 9 and don't have experience with the S Pen, you should probably get the S10 over the Note 9 since it is the newer device on the market. So make sure to drop your comments down below and let me know exactly what you did. Did you keep the Note 9? Did you upgrade or did you choose the S10? Alright, so if you found this video useful, make sure to subscribe to Saki Tech by clicking that button and also click that bell icon on the side to make sure you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you do use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you can follow me at Saki Tech Online to get the latest updates as well. Alright, have a fantastic day.